really an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
By heart. Little girl making ice candy.
Ice candy sa ref, yung
and then
plastic.
Selling it. Even my own executives didn't believe in the product. I believed in it so much, I fought for it. And we were several years, it was just not making money. And they said, Ma'am, tigil na natin. Sabi ko, no. We will continue.
So you
we
are amused by these memes?
We're amused.
Hindi
yes.
kayo na-insulto?
Especially when my dad got COVID. Okay? So, instead of Enrile getting COVID, si COVID nagka-Enrile.
Mention the word Delimondo and Filipinos will readily remember the homegrown brand made famous by its corned beef and other food products. Dati, hindi kilala, pero ngayon ay household name na. Tara't samahan ninyo ako para malaman kung paano ba kakagatin ang inyong produkto o serbisyo kasama ang power woman na si Katrina Ponce Enrile, President and CEO ng JAKA Investments Corporation, isa sa pinakamalaking kumpanya ng bansa. At sa kauna-unahang pagkakataon, papasukin ninyo ang planta ng Delimondo para makita ninyo kung paano ba ginagawa ang inyong paboritong corned beef. Dito lamang sa Usapang Bilyonaryo. Hi, Katrina. Thank you for welcoming us into your home.
Hi, Ces. Long time
I
no see.
know. The last time was when?
Long time ago.
With your dad.
And I miss seeing you on TV.
I used to follow you even when I was in college. And what I know of you, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're a serial entrepreneur. You even had a pandesal business.
Yeah, I had Pandesal Magic, I had options, right?
Yes, options.
Yeah. People forget that. But yeah, I'm really an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
By heart. Little girl making ice candy.
Ice candy sa ref, yung
and then
plastic.
Selling it, yeah.
Here in Dasma?
No,
You
before
bought
we
your
were in
property.
Urdaneta.
You're being an entrepreneur came from where?
He made his fortune in the stock market. He's Ilocano. He knows how to keep money. And my mom also, she knows how to keep money. Both of them were very tight with money. My mom was also a very good investor. She knew where to invest. She was the one at 1961, I think, because we were living before in film life,
Okay,
in Quezon City.
Ah.
Then she invested in Urdaneta. My mom bought our lots in Urdaneta in 1961. So it was my mom who was the one who was buying. Dad was making the money, and mom was the one investing it.
What was it that triggered those?
Actually, I need some creative outlet, always, because my mind keeps always going with so many ideas.
So did those businesses make money?
They did.
And Delimondo, you began, 16 years ago?
Actually, it was a long time ago without a name.
Okay.
But the actual name came out in 2006. Prior to that, people don't know this, but we provide the corned beef for Jollibee, right? And I said, what if I make my own corned beef, right? So I said, I started doing my own tests. Then I started canning it, no label, and I used to give that out as gifts for Christmas. And then after a while, people were asking me, Katrina, where did you get this corned beef? I said, no, we make it. Then I said, can we order? I said, sure. And then later on, people kept asking and asking. Sabi ko, gawa na kaya ako ng sarili kong label. So then that's how it started.
How did that deal with Jollibee come about?
We actually supply a lot of food chains. Aside from, also most of the pizza toppings of some, I'm not gonna name them anymore. We make them.
When did this business start?
When we purchased Barney's Food
Who was at the helm of JAKA then?
It was my brother. And then he kind of left because he ran for politics in 1998. And that was exactly the time that the Asian crisis hit,
Yeah.
right? If you remember, 97, right?
Yeah.
I was kind of left with the problem of having to deal with our loans and everything. So we had to restructure everything. But I was bullish.
Because interest rates were
It was so high. The peso devalued just overnight.
Yeah.
So, and you know, I never took up business. I took up political science at UP.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so
And law in Ateneo.
yeah, 2 years. Not a single unit of business class at UP or anywhere else. So everything I learned just came
On the job.
innately in me
Because you're a serial entrepreneur nga.
because I'm creative. You don't have to know, you don't have to go to, for me, you don't have to go to business school. If you have it, you have it. And if you don't have it, no business school is going to teach you how to create. For me, it's creation.
It's creation.
This is actually, ma'am, yung feeling line, but we have to go. Papakita natin yung whole process.
Amoy bulalo. Amoy bulalo.
This is the only place that they handle the meat.
We go first to the beginning of the process. All of them galing sa that's our freezer. That's negative 25 degrees.
cannot go-
Purely cattle. That is why we declare it in our label 100% cattle. Nobody declares any competition.
Only Delimondo.
Only Delimondo.
Which means,
We're using pure cattle.
Katrina, how many percent of the business in the food group?
Before, actually, Delimondo is around 10% of the business.
Yeah.
But right now, it's reverse already. 90% is Delimondo.
Wow! Galing!
Galing.
Ano bang gayuma linagay ni Katrina sa recipe? So this is again for another
Food service account.
food service account.
This time, it's fully automated.
What's happening here?
Upstairs, they're casing it.
Okay.
Product.
Katrina, the 850 million capitalization for this was all company generated, or did you have to borrow?
Borrowed.
You borrowed. But that was when interest rates were low pa.
Yes.
And peso.
Yes.
How many percent of Delimondo is being exported?
Coming from a 5% export, right now we are at 15% already. We're now exploring the market in the UAE.
The corned beef is really your recipe.
It is. It's different from the one that we give to Jollibee. So that took a while because I didn't want Jollibee to say, "Oh, you're canning na the."
Right.
So it had to be very different. Yeah.
So you're the only one who knows it? No naman.
I'm the one who knows it. I actually know it. I can when I look at it, when I smell it, and it's just smelling. I already know if it's right and if it's my product. Yeah.
So how do you safeguard the recipe if I guess a few people do know it or
No,
it's segmented siguro?
Yeah, it is. So the spice mix is what the process is fairly simple, but the spice mix is what I
guard.
keep. Yeah.
And the knack for cooking,
That's I love to eat.
okay.
Halata ba?
The knack for cooking is it inherited also or did you study for it?
I didn't study it. You know, when you love to eat, and you know, I have a very distinct sense of smell. Do you know that when you taste food, it's not really it's not your nose
first.
It's really your smell, right? So I can smell something and I know exactly what's in it. That's why sometimes in the Michelin star restaurants that I go to, I actually called the chef. I said, "There's a special ingredient here," and then they won't tell me, and then I'll tell them. Then they get kind of shocked that I know. I cook I create a dish
In your
my
mind.
mind,
Parang you know na how it tastes.
And then I'll know how it tastes because of this. And then when
Parang
I
you can smell
when
it
I
already, parang
you know how,
ganun.
when the chefs go like this and they smell, diba they go like this, then they know it's good. I cook without a recipe, no recipe. So they'll have to document everything while I'm cooking.
Somebody has to
May
keep track.
dinagdag niya ito. Ganon.
JAKA, though, did not start in the food processing business, right? I
No, when 1974 came, it was purely an investment company. We were investing in other companies. I told you my mom likes to invest,
Yeah.
and my dad also invests because he was playing the stocks. So we had a lot of stocks in different
publicly listed
publicly
companies.
listed, and then they all put that as an investment. That's why it's called JAKA Investments Corporation, right? So, JAKA being Jack and Katrina. So that's how it started. And then there was no operating company yet. When at 1975, my dad was approached by Swedish Match. They wanted to get out of the country. They couldn't run their match company very well, and they had a lot of debt. So my dad was able to get the match company by assuming the debt. So we didn't pay out money for it, but we assumed the debt. That's why when people
So
say,
you got it for a song, in a way.
in a way, it was free. We got it for free, but we had to assume the huge
Yeah,
debt
okay.
and had to turn it around. So when they say ill-gotten wealth, okay, that's kind of really not fair because we didn't borrow from any government institution. We borrowed money from commercial banks. So
There were no behest loans.
no BHES loans. And we got businesses because they were bankrupt and we were good at turning them around. One step for mankind.
Oh! Delimondo corned beef.
Parang nakakajong sila, no?
No, you had an all-natural.
Don't like it. It's
It's
a
This is
serve it.
parang cured.
Did your dad ever have to try the Delimondo corned beef? Did you have to seek his approval? It must have been tough during the crisis because, you had to restructure the loans.
We had to be practical. I had to let go of a lot of people. I was the bad person. I had to let go of, we were very top heavy. So I had to let go of a lot of the executives, and I just kept very key people that I thought that could really be helpful to me. And then, of course, we went to the banks and did whatever we could to lower our debt. Luckily, we didn't have a dollar-denominated debt, except for one business which I gave up and sold.
one?
That was the aviation. We were in a chartering business. We had a lot of fixed wings and helicopters, and we were doing a lot of chartering at that time. And so that carried a dollar-denominated loan, but then we also had exports, so that kind of like we were still okay, but then it was kind of draining because not everybody was chartering, and the upkeep of all those, of the whole fleet was just hard for us to keep maintaining. So I sold it back to the person that we bought it for $1.
What?
Yeah, but you assume the debt, right? So I learned that from my dad, right?
How many buildings does JAKA own in Makati?
Well, we used to own a lot. But we sold the one on along Ayala. We had two. Along Ayala. We sold both of them. That was the one that I used to pay off the loans. But we have one in Salcedo, and we have the big
In Buendia.
the one, yeah, that's about 8,000 square meters. It's almost a hectare in land. I had to lighten, and go back to our core business. So which was desiccated coconuts, the matches, yeah. But then, as things progressed, the match became a sunset industry because the lighters came in and all that. So I had to find a way how to replace our cash cow, right? And then so I said, I turned, and that's how I got Delimondo start.
And it's huge. I mean, because before you
Before-
seemed like just this upstart, you were just this
Yeah.
tiny brand.
Yeah,
And
we
then-
were. I was just in the Salcedo market, just there. That's how I started Delimondo. Aside from giving it away,
And then
in cans with no labels.
And then suddenly you were in all the supermarkets.
Yes.
Inuuwi ng mga balikbayan abroad.
I don't know how that happened because I never spent for any advertising at all.
True. There was a story also this is a chance to address it, that because of the coup, supposedly our economy at that time was already, on the
Tittering.
recovery.
Oh,
But after the coup,
yeah.
of course, it collapsed. And there was this story that's when JAKA acquired some of the buildings in Makati in a coup again supposedly instigated by their father.
Well, actually, our broker there was Mar Rojas. Can you imagine that?
He was?
Yeah. Mar's a good businessman.
Okay.
I think he's a better businessman than he is. Okay, don't get mad, ha?
Then he is what?
Never mind. Mar, I love you.
He was your broker.
he's our-
Okay.
yeah.
When he sold those buildings, in what year?
That was
Kasi yung
that
coup na
was
yun is 89.
that was in the early 90s also.
So prices were
Yeah, prices were
low. Were low. But then, but did you have to go into debt to acquire them or no?
No, we had, yeah.
It's just that you saw the opportunity to sell.
I wasn't the
these
president
jewels.
at that time. It was a different president. At that time, it was my Tita Nora Bitong
Okay.
who was running the JAKA at that time. I was still not considered mature enough.
There was also supposed to have been a falling out with Nora Bito.
Yes.
There was.
Yeah, but we're okay. Yeah.
Mismanagement. It was
Not-
never, talked about, or it was always just whispers.
I don't know. What did you hear?
There was a fight with your father. They didn't see eye to eye, something like that.
Well, when my dad trusts someone, he trusts them completely. But, it's been so long, and she also, I guess at that point, she really also wanted to do her own thing already for her own family too. So it was just, I think, that at the right time that she wanted to opt out. And make her own mark in the business world. And so that's what happened. They split up. But we're okay.
Did your dad ever have to try the Delimondo corned beef? Did you have to seek his approval?
No.
Oh, no. He let you go.
He didn't know I was doing it. I just did it. And for a while, even my own executives didn't believe in the product. But for you to be able to do something, it's either you believe your product or don't even do it. I believed in it so much, I fought for it. And we were several years it was just not making money. And they said, Ma'am, tigil na natin. Sabi ko, no. We will continue.
Siyempre, CEO ka.
Yeah. And then that's the sales. Ito lang ang sales, ma'am.
Yeah,
Sabi
so
ko,
did you
because I said I'm gonna use social media. Noon hindi pa naman ginagamit ng social media. So word of mouth, social media, nobody was using it then. I was using it already, not knowing that, you know, that it would really help. And so then they started saying, Mom, we're really selling now. And then we went to the main outlets, you know, like we got into we went and got into SNR first. And then from there, we took off.
You never doubted.
I never doubted my products. I never doubted my label, even if they said, one of my executives said, it looks like a label for dog food. I said, I don't care what you think, this is what I want. And there's a reason, there's a reason for that.
What?
Because I can't see nga. And so when I go to groceries, I said, the easiest way to find my product, if it's a different color, everybody is also colorful. So if you see, you know, a sea of white cans there, that's Delimondo. So there, it's really easier to find.
They didn't like how it looked. I thought
It wasn't
very
it
distinctive.
wasn't important what they thought. I liked it. I was that bull-headed and hard-headed about it.
Did you zero in on the love of Filipinos for carne norte, for corned beef? What was it?
That was just the start. But I have a lot of product lines that maybe not everybody knows,
Yeah.
but I have a store. Maybe you can come visit it. The Delimondo line is my creation from scratch. Everybody thinks that we're just a corned beef company.
Yeah.
But of course, me
But
being
no.
a foodie, I have other offerings like this. I have bacalao a la Vizcaína. This is the typical bacalao.
Yeah.
And then I have a la Mestiza. That's my recipe. This is my Lola's. This is my version. Okay, then
And more you said suited to the Filipino taste.
palette, yes.
Which is what? Sweeter?
A little bit, yeah.
And not too salty, not too strong.
And then we have our new offering here, which is the tuna line.
Yellowfin, so it's a higher, more
It's
value.
a higher value
Yeah.
because it's hamachi.
Yeah.
And then we have with virgin oil and then the spicy. That took me about a year to perfect even the moisture content of, not that I would know, but it's just how I would like to eat it.
So dapat melts in your mouth kasi ganyan ang hamachi medyo, no? Tender,
I mean, kasi tuna for me is
dry, can be
it's
dry.
too dry, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
I said I'm gonna make a different kind.
Okay, must
And
try.
then these are staples already. Batido de sardinas.
What does batido mean?
Batido is pate in Spanish. And
All
then
of these
we have drizzling oils, okay, sun-dried tomato with pepper and chili actually. And then we have the spaghetti sauces. We have our plain puttanesca. We have pasta. Then we have the tapa. Then of course our luncheon meat, our bolognese. So we have pasta sauces. And then we have dips also, spicy. We have, dip, spread, drizzling oil, marinades. Like this is our marinades. This one you can make salpicao out of that. You just...
Universal marinade.
Universal sauce. You can actually put it on anything.
Even if it's preserved, you try to keep it as natural as possible.
Yes. And then we have, did they have... it's just the sardinas, but we have another batido. It's made of chicken liver.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then
In a can also.
in a can, yeah.
Will you sell that soon in the supermarket? Like,
We're gonna come out with our own langganisa also. And then this breakfast
sausage.
sausage,
With maple syrup. What do you mean? In there already?
Yes.
Wow!
Yeah. You don't have to go abroad to get that. You can get that here now.
And then here you can order na
Yes, we have our.
parang nabuhay yung
We
yung
have our-
pandesal magic mo.
This is my son,
Hi!
JR, and his wife Danny. They're helping me because I can't do it all by myself anymore.
He's a COO, isn't he?
He's the COO.
And
Yo-
you-
child of
And-
owner and the wife of
The-
owner.
Beautifully designed.
Guns. People that was drawing a wedge between the two. My dad idolized President Mark. He still does. That's my dad's story. Do you want to know my story?
Yes, of course.
February 86, EDSA. Okay. Wala pang 1 year. I was just still 26 years old.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to go see the president in Makiki. My dad never knew. I went on my own
Why?
because I wanted to make sure that my dad and the president were okay. Nang hinayang ako, more so for the friendship and the respect that they had for each other. I flew to San Francisco. The next day, I flew to Hawaii. And then I asked to see if I could be given a chance to see the president. I just took a chance. Pumayag. Kasi akala nila I had a message from my dad.
Okay.
So, I waited for the president. So, he sat down and he told me, I understand you have a letter, a message from your dad. And then I said, no. He stood up and he said, we have nothing to talk about. And he started to walk away. And I said, quick, Katrina, think. So I didn't stand up. I kept sitting down, and while he was walking away, I said, I actually came here to try to find a way to make you and my dad start talking to each other. And then he turned, he came back, he sat down. We spoke for 3 hours. And that's all I'm going to say. I will keep that to myself. And that's why I know, without a shadow of a doubt, that they're okay. President Marcos prepared a tape for my dad, for me to give to my dad.
Did you not listen to the tape?
No,
Talaga?
no,
You were not curious?
no. The 3 hours with President Marcos was enough for me.
In those 3 hours, did he betray any resentment?
No. He was giving me advice to tell my dad who to trust, who not to trust, who this, what. Yeah.
He understood why your dad did what he did. Maybe to just cut.
It was as if
Nothing happened.
nothing happened.
I mean, he was unseated.
Yeah, it was as if nothing happened. That's why in my heart, I knew they were good.
Did you ever quarrel? Did he ever scold you?
My dad?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Many
Always?
times. Ako? Yeah, I was always, especially during the time that I was always partying, you know?
Those days are over.
Those days are over.
The boycott thing is also coming from, the last case that your dad had. He was really, what is it? They just said he was too old to be jailed.
It was my wish that there comes a point in time that he really clears his name, because the evidence that they have against my father is just very weak. Because if it was strong, he'd probably be in jail. But it's not.
But his chief of staff is still in jail.
Yes. She's still in jail. But that doesn't mean that she did anything wrong. Right? Just like Jingo is out, and the others are out. I think they were just been. It was just, again, you know how Philippine politics is. Sila lang ang napili. But there was really.
You're saying it's political.
It is political, no matter. Some people will not agree with me. That's all right. But it is political.
Hindi na nga nila maboycott dahil masyadong masarap eh. That's what some are saying.
Di salamat po.
Gusto man boycottin.
At bakit naman po kailangan mag-boycott ng Philippine-made? Di ba? Ano ba talaga ang gusto natin mangyari sa ekonomiya natin dito? Pabagsakin na lang. And bakit hindi i-boycott din ang Pure Foods? Nandun nga sa inauguration at nagsuporta ng malaki si Ramon Ang Bakit lang ang sinisiro in lang ang Delimondo po? Bakit kaya?
Bakit?
Di ko alam.
It used to be owned by Ayala, right?
Yes. And the Ayalas also naman
Are supporting.
They supported also President Bongbong Marcos. Boboycott nyo din ba ang mga Ayala land properties? Siguro naman hindi, di ba? Ibenta nyo na yung mga properties nyo sa Ayala. Ganun ba yun po? Biro lang.
do you laugh together at the jokes about him? I mean,
The memes?
Yeah, the memes.
Yeah, we do actually during the pandemic. You know, actually I want to collect them all nga to make people happy. So one day, because diba they're always saying that he came from the dinosaur age, it's in my TikTok, in my TikTok page. I bought si Brownie, you know, dinosaur.
Yeah, yeah.
Diba doon PPE, diba? So we put my dad in the middle of the garden, and all of us girls wore brownies as our PPE, and we were dancing around him. So we were
are amused by these memes.
we're amused.
Hindi
yeah.
kayo na-insulto.
Especially when my dad got COVID. Okay? So instead of Enrile getting COVID, is si COVID nagka-Enrile. She's on call. That's what he told. I'm on call. No naman, the president hasn't asked him, but he's on call anytime.
And this was one of the first appointments, no, that President Marcos made.
Can you imagine? That's why I'm trying to get the Guinness Book of World Records for him to be the oldest appointed cabinet member in the world, or at least in the Philippines. Yeah.
So you applied na for
I did.
Are you your father's daughter or your mother's daughter?
I'm a little of both, but I'm more my dad. Yeah, especially ugali-wise.
Which is what?
We're both impatient, and then people think it's his temper. It's really more. He expects people to be like him. He's a very action-oriented person. He wants things done right away. He cannot wait. Very impatient nga, di ba? That's what I got from him. But I admire my dad, you know, for his intellect, for his work ethic, and he shows people how it is. Well, his story is an inspiration already, but for people that don't know him and then just live with him, if they could only see how simply he lives. He's always told me that, Katrina, you have to live a simple life. You don't need so much. You don't you don't need stuff. You don't need all these stuff, you know. Said, Dad, I'm working on that.
About the Cagayan Eco Zone, what are the plans for that?
From Fidel Ramos onwards, you know, I've sat on the board of Cagayan Economic Zone Authority. So I pretty much know everything that's happening there. We're really planning to make that a flagship project for President Marcos. So,
will you get appointed? Are you hoping?
I hope, not because of my connection with my dad, but because my heart is in that place too.
You haven't yet accomplished enough?
No, it's. I guess it's just in my nature. You know, I look at something and I see, what can I? You know, it's just the way I am. I guess. You know what I can do to make this better for me. You know, something like that.
Pero do you oo nga naman. Wow, you know.
So welcome to Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah.
That's a different variety.
Quality ika nga is the best business plan, and Katrina Ponce Enrile is taking this to heart. Ika nga ni Katrina, kailanman ay hindi dapat isakripisyo ang kalidad ng iyong produkto dahil ito ang susi sa iyong tagumpay. Ako po si Ces Orena Drilon at maraming salamat sa inyong panonood sa Usapang Bilyonaryo.